Hi everybody, this will be part 5 in the Twine Interactive tutorial series. In this part 5 we'll discuss how to make adjustments to the font both on individual words, on individual passages, as well as on the Twine story in general using the story style sheet. So one thing we can do is change the default font and the default font size, even the default font color with the entire document by just editing the style sheet. So we're going to do that in the interactive story test. We're going to edit story style sheet. In the previous video we talked about how to change the background image or background color on individual passages through the use of tags. So right underneath all of that, this also could be above all of that as well. We're going to add the code that is needed to change the font size, and there's a whole bunch of other things we can do with font. Make it bold, change the color, center the font as well. We'll come back to later. But in the style sheet, we're going to do TW, and this time we're going to do passage. So TW passage changes the font for the entire Twine or all of the passages. TW-passage, we're going to do a left curly bracket, hit enter, we'll do font-family and colon, and then we're going to add or change the font for all of the words. Now, not every font is going to be available to use within Twine, but you can Google search web-safe fonts, Google fonts, CSS fonts, and whatnot, and find a variety of ones that will or could work, and you can try out as many as you can to find the ones that can work. There are methods to actually locally install with the code a specific font with CSS, but for this tutorial series we're just going to talk about using a basic font that's already on most computers or CSS fonts. So this is cssfontstack.com, and this website shows the percentage that most Windows and Mac computers will have the availability of this particular font. Not all of these will work with Twine, but most of them will. We're primarily going to use the one-word fonts for this demo, as it'll be a little easier to use and we won't have to worry about not spelling it or typing it in properly. So we can use things like sans serif fonts like Arial, Arial Black, Futura, Impact serif fonts. We can use like Cambria, Didat, Georgia. A couple of the other specific fonts will not particularly work like some of these down here, but we're going to stick with sans serif and serif fonts. So one that's going to be pretty easy to tell a difference, the default font is a serif font, so we'll use Impact. That should be pretty easy to see the difference here. So we'll type in font-family colon, and we'll do Impact. We're going to use all lowercase letters, and then we're going to add a semicolon to the end, hit return, and do a right curly bracket. All right, so let's do play. Now the font is the Impact font. If I go back and remove that code, you should see the difference here. So let's just remove that back out and do cut so I can paste it back in later. So now it'll update that. There's the default serif font. And then if I go back through, paste in my Impact font change and replay, you should see that clearly as a difference there. So that's a good example to show the difference. One other thing we can do here is actually change the font size as well, and really anything else with the font. We'll just do the font size as one example. We can only have one TW passage. We can have multiple TW stories because those would pertain to specific tags. But we can do one overall passage for if we want this adjustment to affect all of the text in our entire Twine. So underneath font-family Impact semicolon, I'm going to return down, and we'll do font-size colon, and we will increase this something much larger, 40 pixels or whatnot, and semicolon to round that off. It'll color coordinate everything for you. So let's close this and hit play again. Okay, you can see the font is much larger. We'll come back and make adjustments to the center and the color of the font with individual pages if we want to. So that's how in the style sheet we can change a font for the entire Twine, and as well as the font size or even font color, bold, italicized, underlined, center. We'll come back to doing center justified or left or right justified here in a minute as well. So that's adjusting the font for the entire Twine. We can also come to an individual passage and adjust the font and font color for a specific word. So maybe we want to change that for the word kids. We'll change the word kids back to, I don't know, maybe we'll do some serif again. We'll go back to dot. We'll try that one. So for kids, we want to change the font for kids, and it's a little more specific of code. Basically what we're going to do is before the word kids, we're going to add some code, and then after the word kids, we're going to add some code. So before the affected words, we're going to add left angle bracket. We'll do span, S-P-A-N, space, style, equals, the apostrophe, font dash family, colon, and we will do dot, D-I-D-O-T. We need to do apostrophe again and right angle bracket to close off that. So then any words next is going to be changed to this dot font family. We just want the word kids, maybe we'll do the period as well. And then after that selected letters or words, we're going to do left angle bracket, / span, and we're going to do right angle bracket. So that way just the word kids and the period is going to be changed to dot. Okay, so let's close that out and hit play. All right, there we go. So the rest of my text is impact. The word kids has changed to this dot. So you can use most of the fonts that are listed here from the CSS font stack. All right, so some other things that we can do is change the color of text. And we would do it in a very similar way. Let's maybe change the word hello. So we're going to do left angle bracket, span, space, style, equals. We're going to do color this time. So how color works is we're going to do parenthesis or quotation mark, color, colon, and we'll change this to red. We will do in quotation mark and right curly bracket. We'll say the word hello. Maybe the comma is added to this as well. And then at the end, we will do left angle bracket, / span, right angle bracket. All right, so the word hello is going to be red. Let's play. There it goes. The word hello is red. It's pretty bright and obnoxious, but that's how we can change the color. If you go back to the previous video, we can type in some basic color words, red, blue, yellow, white, black, or we can use hex values the same way as well. If you wanted to also change the font family and the color, then we have to combine these two. So what we're going to do is add this tidbit of code, really style, and then the code before the font family change. So we'll do span style, span style equal, and then we will do quotation mark, color. We'll do green this time, green, in quotation mark, and the right angle bracket. We're going to do space, but one thing we do need to add is right after the word green, but before the quotation mark, we're going to do a semicolon. Okay, so a little bit different. If we need to combine multiple ones together, we would do semicolons and then add on to that. Okay, so let's go back and play. Whoop, we have something improper right there. It shows us green, but then we don't want to see this text right here. So let's go back to it. Span style, color red. I'm just Searching through this again. Oh, we don't need this, sorry. Remove this right angle bracket there. So basically we had too many angle brackets. All right, let's play. There we go. So just the word kids is green. So that example shows you that you do need to kind of make sure your code is written properly. Otherwise it won't display it as you intended to. So make sure all of the characters and code is written as you need it to be. Otherwise it's not going to display it how you want to. So that's how we can change the text color of an individual word. We can change the font color of an individual word. And it does look like, let's see, it took out the dot font. So we'll go back in here. Style font, family dot. Yeah, that should work. Kids, yeah. Okay. Anyway, we'll come back and kind of correct that later if need be. All right. So some other things that we can do is actually change the link color as well. So if I go to play, if I look at my link color, it starts off with a darker blue and changes that to a lighter blue when I hover over it. So this is my button or link color. And we do this back in the style sheet as well. So if I do interactive test story, go up to edit story style sheet. We're going to return down underneath the TW passage and we're going to type in TW-link. And the first one is we're going to change is the hover color. So we'll do TW-link : hover, and we're going to do left curly bracket. We're going to return down and we'll do color. We will do colon and we'll just do something like yellow. Okay. Yellow semicolon. We'll come down and end that with a right curly bracket. So let's back out there, go play. So that way when I hover over this, it's going to change that hover color to yellow instead of a lighter blue. You can once again add your own specific hex color if you'd like to, or just use default color words. So if we go back into the edit story style sheet, so TW-link hover will change the hover color. If I return down again, TW-link will just change the button color when it is not hovered over. So let's just change this one color and we'll do something drastic orange. Won't really visually look good, but it'll make the adjustment here. So we'll do orange semicolon and then we will end that with a right curly bracket. All right, let's close that and hit play. All right, so as default, that button is now going to be orange. When I hover over it, it's going to change to yellow. Now this isn't a really great color scheme here. I have red, green, orange, and yellow. So we try to make something that all works together in a more cohesive way. But this example shows how we can adjust that. This is all in the edit story style sheet. Link hover changes the hover color. Just TW-link changes the button color. We can also change the font family for this as well. So maybe let's do just Arial by itself. So let's do TW-link hover and we will go return underneath that font family : Arial semicolon. Okay, we'll do the same thing for the link as well. So font family : Arial semicolon. All right, so now when I play, my button is now in Arial while the rest is in impact. Hover is yellow, button without hovered is orange. Okay. So that's how we can use link changes to the hover and basic link buttons. One last thing we're going to do is change the alignment of text, and this is back underneath, or needs to be back underneath the passage. So in TW passage, I'm going to return down underneath my font size and we'll do text dash align : and we'll do center, because right now it's left justified. So center, and then I'm going to do semicolon. Okay. So this way it's going to center justify all of my text, and I need to put this in my one TW passage, so that'll affect everything. So let's do play. There it goes. So all of my text is in the center, and this goes for every page. So if I go to the next page, my buttons are orange and hover is still yellow. My text is still in the center. If I move to my next NED page, everything is now center justified. And notice that is not just the text. There's also any images and buttons, anything else that we've added as well. So that's another way that we can adjust the display of our Twine by center justifying everything. Okay, so that's some major things that we can do to adjust the font. Okay, one more thing, we need to go back and correct the code here for the addition of the color green to the font family change die dot. So what is improper is that we need to finish off this span here to change the color, and then start the span for the font family change. So at the end of the span style color, we need to do a right angle bracket, and then in front of the style font family change, we need to do a left angle bracket, span and space style, and then do the font family die dot change. Now when we go back and hit play, now we can see it changes the color to green, and it's changing the font to the die dot font. So that simple adjustment, we need to finish off the span for the color and then start a span for the die dot. But we do need that semicolon so that it connects the two together. All right, so that wraps it up within this video, talking about how we can change the font in a variety of ways, center justify it, change the font of the entire Twine, change the font of individual words, change the color of the font, change the link or button text as well. So that'll wrap it up with this video.